Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh my goodness, look at this chat room already cracked full. My goodness. All right, let's start this thing off by going through the chat while we wait for more people to come in live, but apparently there are lots of you here already. All right, let's see. Denmark was the first one in. I don't even know when you came in, my friend, but you were clearly in earlier this morning because an hour ago I responded back. There's still an hour to go, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. Lucas says, hope you don't mind me asking, is the GH5 another one supplied by Panasonic for reviews? Yes, it is. Or delivered pre-order? No, it is not. This is a pre-production model still. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, this is not the official shipping ones yet. Let's see here. Lucas says, well, if that's the case, sorry. Sorry to disappoint. Oh, and look at that. Sean's on board. Says, this is the unit we sent to him, not a pre-ordered camera. Shipping has not started yet. Well, thank you, Sean, for coming in and confirming. Are you still snowed in, Sean? They got quite the storm over there on the East Coast. Lucas says, oh, look, he's just saying thank you. So, Mr. Summons, or Miss Summons says, how exciting. Omar, good morning to you, too. I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited. Everybody's excited. Jess is super excited. Look, everybody's excited. I even cleaned my iPad screen so I don't miss anything, Jess. That's awesome. Live stream, baby. Here we are. Lucas says, can't decide whether to watch and spoil my own surprise in a few weeks' time or just skip this one and wait. Well, hopefully you're still here. Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. Good morning, Zachary. Good morning, Robert. Bubblegum Monsters. Wow, you got one already? Not the pre-order. Not the pre-order. Sorry. This is remember, Lumix Luminary. I get special treatment sometimes. Let's not get carried away. But it is not shipping. This is still pre-production. So, oh snap, the GH5. Here we are. Good morning. Amazon says 20th in the UK. Excellent. It's getting closer. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. There's Martin. There's Sam Odie. Hello, I'm very well. Hello, how are you too? Looking forward to the unboxing. Well, good. We're going to get right to it. McGlove. My God, look at all these comments. Robert, can't wait. Everybody can't wait. This is fantastic. Let's see here. Do you think Amazon or B&H will ship the pre-orders first? Well, that's a tough question. I would imagine they're both shipping at the same time. If anything, they might be under an embargo, but I don't know. Sully says, good morning. Sully was without my GH4 and 8mm SLR magic lens in the blizzard yesterday, and my God, I was wishing that I had the GH5. Yeah. The GH4 locked up. It was so cold. Interesting. I haven't heard that before, because what I've heard from a lot of people is, well, it's great that it's weatherproofed and freeze-proof and all that, but wasn't the GH4, man. I've used mine in extreme temperatures and never had a problem. So that's the first time I've ever heard of someone saying that the GH4 locked up on them. So I guess this does surpass the GH4's capabilities then. That would have been cool to have had. Good morning from Greece. Oh my goodness, look at that. Greece calling in this morning. And what is the cardboard box? Also pre-order version? Well, yeah, kind of. It's, like a mock-up. But it's, I don't know, maybe the box is the final box. It actually has stickers on it and everything. But it has a P, which probably means pre-production, so there's probably that. This is just the body. This is not a kit. And no fine wooden creations. This is not a fake, but it's also not a shipping model. So let's get this thing started for reals and explain exactly what we are looking at today. So let's do this. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, your first live daily photography show on YouTube. Every day, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, every weekday. Let's not get carried away. I like to take my weekends too. And holidays, take those off. Let's not get carried away. A little photography show, a little photo, a little video, a little this, a little that. And today we are unboxing one of these. Now, let's get this out of the way. For those of you who might be new to the channel, I am a Lumix Luminary. That means I am sponsored by Lumix. I have access to stuff early. That's why I had a GH5 several weeks ago. That was probably a month ago that I had it for a week or so. Had to give it back. Just got another one. This is still a pre-production model. I've been told that the body on this, the physical camera, is not changing from this to production, so this should be a production model. The firmware that is on here is still pre-production, but I have a later version of the firmware that I'll be installing, which as far as I know is production, but until it's actually shipping, anything could change. So we'll leave it at that. This box has been well loved, which is, I think, the correct nomenclature to use when describing a used and abused product. This box has been well loved. It has been all over the country countless times, back and forth, seen many FedEx shipments, and it is beaten. It is beaten hardy. This is not a brand new shiny unboxing. This is an unboxing of a product that has been unboxed probably about 700 times. You'll see that on the wear and tear on the box. But all the goodies are in here, and that's what's important. That's what we want to take a look at, see what comes in this wee little box. So, with that said, let's open this here. Let's do a little close, make sure my close-up cam's working. There's the close-up cam. Excellent. We got that in place. We're in focus. Shirts down, guts in. We're good. Let's do this thing. Let's go through the routine. So what do we got? Open. Wait, we've got to find the right way to open. It opens in the front. Maybe that's the top. Maybe that's the front. I have no idea. We'll just try this. Oh, there, that is kind of a front. So it's like a front and a top and a side. You guys really don't care about this part of it. Do you just want to see what comes inside? Okay, well, there's a, see, even all the manuals says PP, for pre-production. So this is all, where's the right one? See, pre-production stuff. There's not glare on it. So this is pre-production. The manual, pre-production as well. So probably final, probably, but technically, officially, it is not. Go into the boxes. We'll come to the camera last. You guys don't really want to see that part of it. We'll just get that out of the way. Let's see. So you've got your strap, your standard. Let's go ahead and switch over to this camera again. So you got your standard yield LUMIX G strap. Oh, and it says GH5. Look at that. Okay, it's the first time I've seen that one. GH5 strap. Now, I got to be honest. I got to be honest with you. I don't usually use, it doesn't matter who makes the camera. I pretty much never use these straps. In fact, I pretty much never use a strap. I prefer to not have a strap, but I don't like using manufacturer straps, and I'll tell you why. The camera's in your hand. It's somewhat discreet. If you really wanted to black it out, you could put a little gaff tape over the name of it, and you block out that Lumix name. You block out Canon, Nikon, Leica, whatever you're carrying. But if you got this on, you're like, hey, look, I got the new Lumix GH5. Steal me. Sorry, Sean. I don't like doing that. Okay. Let's go back to this camera here. Cables. This comes with, hey, this is the first one of these that I have. That is USB-C. Look at that. I do not have anything to plug that end into. Of course, this is for the camera, and this one's for the computers that most of us have. If you have one of the fancy new MacBook Pros, then you'll want a USB-C to USB-C. If it's coming with that, it's not in this box, I don't think, at least. I've already opened this. That's not in here. USB-C to USB-C will give you super fast copy times for those of you who have that fantastic camera. That is not me. I'd rather a laptop, but that is not me. Okay, power cable and the charger. The super, super awesome thing about this charger, as you are undoubtedly aware, is this is the same one as for the GH4, as well as the batteries are the same as the GH4. In fact, do I still have, I had another battery in here. I guess I put it away. Which is fantastic, right? That is absolutely huge because any of us that have been shooting with GH4s for a while have several of these, at least one or two of these, and having the exact same ones is massively, hugely, awesomely awesome. So thank you, Panasonic, for doing that. Kudos, kudos. We might need the battery. Okay, let's get this out of the way. We don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. And the last thing in here, which is probably the only thing that a lot of you haven't seen, is the HDMI holder, little HDMI security clip. So we are going to take a look at how this works and how this thing attaches to your GH5 to hold a full-size HDMI cable in place. So we're going to do all of that as well today. Excellent. So that is all there is to that. Hey, on this live stream, where I'm always playing with the live stream and seeing what YouTube can do and can't do, and one of the things that I discovered that I can do, actually I kind of knew this, but I only really used it for the first time last night, is, you know how I always like to say point, you know, I point here and there's a video. I can't do that in the live piece. I can't have the thing show up. So if you're watching live, I can't point and have it show up. But you should still see the info bubble there, and you should see the videos that I'm going to talk about because I actually planned ahead, which I realize is totally foreign to most of you. But I planned ahead, and I've got a couple of links up there that I'm going to point to. One of the links is probably the last one on the list, actually, because I didn't really think about ordering them. But I want you to go hit this now, is a poll. I threw a little poll in there. Are you buying a GH5? And I think the answers are no, I don't know, yes I will, or I already have. I think those are the four. So quickly, go on up there, hit that thing, hit the poll. I want to see what happens. I think I can monitor this poll real time. Actually, that part I didn't quite look into. I'll go look at the poll. Go do the poll, and I'll figure it out later. Ryan, you're watching out there. Maybe if you figure out how to monitor it real time, you can let me know what the results are, because or how to see them. I don't know. But there's a poll, so go check that out. That's kind of cool. And if you're not watching live, then now is when the thing's going to pop up to say, go click on the poll. Okay, let's get this part up. Oh, wait, let's do the comments first. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see here. Comments. Let's go back through here. Oh my goodness. Okay, lots of comments. All right. Hello from Romania, Valentine. Awesome. That is so cool. I love the international size of this, scope of this audience. Jorge says, I went to a demo day of the GH5 in Portugal, but the speed booster didn't work. Can you try, please? Okay, so I reached out to Metabones, the guys who make speed booster. I've been reaching out to them for weeks. They finally got back to me the day before yesterday. And all they said was, we haven't tested with the GH5, thanks. I'm going, guys, that's not what I was asking. Let's talk. I have one. Let's work together. People want to know. So far, they haven't responded to that. So I don't know if they are like, we don't care about you. You're not a big enough YouTuber. We're not going to send you stuff. I don't need them to send me stuff. I can get the stuff from B&H. But I want to talk to Metabones about this. I want to have a conversation with them about the product before I go talking about it here. So, and showing it off here. So I don't know what their deal is. Fingers crossed they're going to respond, but at this point they just don't seem to be that interested. So couldn't tell you. Beyond that, that's all I've got for you. Let's see here. Mikael says, nice to finally be awake. Hi from Perth in Australia. Hi from Perth, and I have no idea what time it is there, but it sounds like it must be early or late. My GH5 once gave me a heart warning in the, I'm assuming you mean your GH4, gave you a heart warning in Vegas desert when it was 115. A heat warning. I should make this a little bit bigger so I can actually read. A heat warning in Vegas when it was 115. Interesting, and I know people use the GH4s in extreme heat situations quite a lot, shooting in deserts. I mean, with anything, you got to take care of the heat, but they do work. So there you go. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, like to know more about 6K photo function. We'll be doing a lot more stuff with the 6K photo now that I've got a camera again. Oh, there you go. Brent says he meant the GH4. And good morning from Wales. Good morning to Wales. Am I going to have to give that one back as well? That is to be determined, but since they're shipping very soon, hopefully not. It must be, Bubblegum says, I must be getting fed up with getting these gems and having to give them back. Hey, that's just part of the game. You know, there's a lot of us and very few of these. So actually, it's not a lot of us. There's a dozen of us, but there's fewer of these out there. So there you go. This is, to see, Valentine says, I didn't miss any video about the GH5, but this is your first unboxing. Well, good. I'm glad you're here. Word, chills, pre-production, all kinds of crazy letters flying across the screen. I've read the DSP button is too flat to the surface. The DSP button. I don't know. We'll take a look at that. Boom. Ben Fox, you made it. Hey, Ben. Right on. Cool. You made it. Look at that. Never use those carbo straps. See, I'm not the only one who doesn't like the straps. How do you resist opening when you got it yesterday? Well, I did. And then I put it back together. Just come on. I'm not crazy. And I've had one before, so, you know, there's that. Let's see. Martin says, yes, only a couple reviews saying you can't push the DSP in too easily, especially with gloves, etc., because it's flat to the surface. Now, let me think. I was shooting in the snow with gloves. When I was shooting with gloves, shooting all the snow stuff, I was really impressed at how much I could do on the camera with the big gloves on. And I wasn't using cool, svelte, slinky little gloves that would keep my hand warm but still allow me to use my fingers. I was using big, stupid snow gloves. So I was really impressed. Obviously, some of the buttons were really hard to push. I'm trying to remember if I had an issue with the display button specifically. I don't remember, but we'll take a look at it again. We'll take a look. Got any interest in shooting lineup, Joseph? I have no idea what that means, Robert. Clarify, and I'll try to answer that. That logo is issues. Okay, well, branded camera bags. Talking about camera bags branded. Yeah, logos on bags. Bad idea. Any proposal for a good hand strap? I don't have a proposal for a hand strap, but what I like. Where is my strap? Hey, Ryan, if you can find my red camera strap, can you bring it in here, please? I have a strap that I really, really like that clips on very easily, very quickly, on and off. And that's how I like to work without a strap most of the time, completely, not even with a wrist strap, just no strap, and then I put a strap on when I feel like I need it. So we'll see if Ryan can find my red camera strap. I have no idea where it is. We'll see if he can find it. Alrighty, so people going on and on. People talking about hand straps. That's great. Awesome. Good. Give some recommendations since I don't have any. That's awesome. Bubblegum Monsters is asking if Sean is still here, if he could respond to the Cinema 5D blog on the 10-bit and the GH5. If Sean, look at that. He says he cannot respond right now, other than if you look, they have taken the review down. Well, there's a pretty good response right there. I think that that tells you a lot. Let's see here. Any official information from Panasonic about expected shipping date? I think that's just more what the stores are telling you, but I have no idea how accurate those are. Anything else? Denmark is here again too. Good morning, Denmark. Ordered. Speed Booster Ultra works with Canon glass. Robert Beasley is reporting. That's awesome. Where's the poll link? The poll link should be, there should be a little little info thing. If you open that, you should see 3 different items in there. 2 video, actually a video playlist, and then the poll, hopefully. Can't see the poll either. Well, that's annoying. I don't know why people can't see the poll. Well, maybe I have to do something else to make it active then. Maybe I didn't do it right. In which case, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see here. Jorge says, thanks for the reply. I will change my Canon lenses to Panasonic. Good job. The new ones look sick, especially the 100-400. Yeah, I don't own a copy of that lens, but that 100-400 I have used it. That's an impressive lens for sure. Let's see here. Let's see. Goodness gracious. More hellos. Morning from New Orleans. Excellent. God, hi from Budapest. Is there a LANC port on the GH5? There's a remote control port, which is a LANC port, I believe. I think that's correct. I know we talked about that with Sean in the interview. You might want to look that up in one of the in part 2 of the interviews. Do I have many shoots planned for this GH5? Robert is confirming. Yes, absolutely. I have a ton of shoots planned. I will go into those later. I am trying to accommodate all of your requests. I have had tons and tons of requests for very specific shots that you want to see. I'm going to try and cover as many of those as I can. Obviously not all in one day, but I'll do what I can. Ezen is saying that you got the poll on your iPhone, so the poll worked for some people. Okay, scroll down to see the poll. Oh, interesting. Scroll down to see the poll. I don't know, maybe it's different if you're on iOS or if you're on the desktop. Close enough. Close enough. Thanks. All right. So it might just depend on where you are to whether you can see the poll or not. So, all right, good. Polls, a lot of people saying they're seeing the poll. Okay, good Lord. The comments are going by faster than I can keep up. Okay, this is the wrist strap version of the strap that I really like. So let me do a close-up on this. The company that makes this is called Lance Camera Straps. Just L-A-N-C-E, Lance Camera Straps. This is the wrist strap version. I don't use this very often, but the full-length strap that I have is exactly like this. I got the same red color. You can get this in whatever color you want. This nylon cording, you would think this is uncomfortable, but it is remarkably, remarkably comfortable. You can get it completely custom built with whatever colors and length. Well, the wrist cord is probably not length controlled, but the full-length one, you can choose the length that you want, or you can get adjustable. You can have whatever type of connectors you want. And I, on both this wrist one and on my full shoulder-length one, I have these little clips because I like to just clip this onto the camera. Like, so you can see that. I just like to clip that on when I need it and take it off when I don't. So that's the kind of strap that I like to use. They're custom straps, so they're not cheap, but I mean, I've seen much more expensive ones out there. I don't want to say how much because I really don't remember. It's been a few years since I bought it, but I love my Lance camera straps. They're great. They're beautiful, and they work. They're really comfortable. Okay. All right. I guess you guys want to see the camera. Fine. Let's get into the camera. Let's do this. Let's go to that. Do like a little peekaboo. Like, peekaboo, peekaboo. You guys are going to kill me. All right, there we go. There she is in all of her beauteous glory. Look at that GH5. Need like a pedestal. Angel singing music. I don't know, something like that. But there it is. That is the Lumix GH5 for those of you who haven't seen it yet. Just a couple of quick little tidbits for those who haven't looked at this thing yet. Some of the big physical differences you'll see. Dual card slots. Love the dual card slots. Useful for so many reasons, right? Let's say you're shooting video and stills. You can have video go to one card, stills go to the other. If you're shooting long form video, you can have the video go to both cards and have it roll over from one card to the next. So as card A fills up, it goes to card B. Then you can pop out card A, which you can do while you're recording. Just don't pop out the wrong card, but that's okay. There's a little LED light that lights up to tell you which card it's writing to. Pop out one card, pop in a replacement. When B fills up, it rolls back to A, and you can record basically for infinitely at that point. Obviously, battery power notwithstanding, but you can put a powered battery, what do you call it? AC adapter in there. That's no problem. And then you can just run forever and ever. Okay, so there's that physical difference. Other big physical difference is the joystick knob. Let's get this at an angle so you can see it. Little joystick knob on there, which has been really, really cool to be able to have. I know that's totally not new to a lot of people coming over from the Canon world, probably Nikon as well, but it is new to Lumix, and that is a very nice thing to have on there. This control dial feels very different than the GH4 did. Much more solid, much more sturdy. It's just it's a more clicky feel. It's a really nice feeling knob on there. Overall, a little bit physically larger than the GH4. I don't have one in here to compare to, but it is a little bit physically larger. But otherwise, it is a fantastic, fantastic feeling camera. Love this thing. Okay, let's take a look at this guy, because I know this is something a lot of you haven't seen yet. This is the HDMI adapter. Sorry, not adapter, HDMI holder. So if you open up the side here, let's go in here and do this, and do this. Maybe this is a little closer here. Can I go a little closer? Let's go a little closer there. There we go. That'll work. And focus that. See, look, I'm learning to take control of my cameras. Isn't that exciting? All right, so there you can see the full-size HDMI port, and then you'll see, do I have a pencil I can point to this with? Not really. There's little holes, right? You can see under the screw hole there's a little hole, and then above the screw hole here, there's a little hole. Those are the holes that this thing screws into, and that's how it all mounts. So what you do is you take your HDMI cable. So let's actually first, let's take a look at which way this is going to go on. So you kind of, if you're looking at it, you're going, okay, I don't know which way this goes on. Obviously, you'll figure it out pretty quickly, but it goes on, am I doing this right? Yeah, it goes on like so. It just screws in there like so. Now you can, let's see here. You kind of need to thread this through the cable first. So let's do this. So hopefully I'm going to get this right. It's going to screw in this way, so we're going to put the cable in this way. And I'll go ahead and I'll plug in the cable. I don't have to plug it in now, but I'm going to. I'm going to plug in the cable, and then this thing, I kind of need to position the camera a little bit better. You can see the way that the little loops are here. This is designed so that you take this cable and it goes like so and like so, and you end up with something that you cannot pull out. Now I've attached it already, which you don't do because now I can't, it's not close enough. But that's what I would do is I thread it through there. So let me undo that and undo this. And let's get this guy back in here, and let's screw this thing in. Make sure I'm doing this right. Yep, there we go. Screw that in, screw that in. There we go, so that is in. Now the cable can still come out at this point, right? I can unplug that. This is the beauty of a full-size HDMI. It's even there without this being attached to the cable, it was that hard to pull out, which is a fabulous thing. So let's get that back in there. That's in, and now I'm just going to take this cable and run it around there and run that around there. And now I've got, let me see here, let me do it like this so that you can see that nice and clearly. And now that is not pulling out. That is a fabulous thing. I am stoked about that. That is one of those things. The little tiny HDMI cable was such an annoyance, could come out so easily. This one does not. Honestly, this is such a good strong grip with a full-size cable. I don't know how often I would even need to use this gripper on there because the cable just stays in so well. Obviously, it depends on what you're doing, but I think that is just fantastic. So there you go. Alrighty, let's see what other comments are flying by here because they are flying fast and furious. My goodness, got 147 live people watching right now. That is beautiful. That is definitely a winner. Man, okay. Let's see here. Poll. People talking about the poll that worked for you. So if you're new, if you've just tuned in, there is a poll you can take. The poll is really simple, just a little fun. Gauging interest on the GH5. Are you buying one? No, maybe, yes, or already did. If you want to take the poll, click on the I to find that, or I think if you're on iOS, you scroll down and you'll find it there, or on Android. If you're on mobile, scroll down and you'll find it down there. Hello from Norway. Hello from Cornwall. Fantastic. Espen from Norway says, up here shooting with the FS7 on the Bering Sea. Send that GH5 up to me. More easy to use on a small fishing boat than the Sony FS7. Yes, I would concur that that is the case. More questions about the speed booster. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not going to answer any of those because I just don't know the answers until I can get those guys to talk to me so I can play with it with their guidance, which is something I definitely want. Joseph, you recently said you had to play with a new lens. I cannot tell you anything about that. I'm sorry. That was a teaser. I love teasing. Afternoon in New York City, still on the fence getting a smaller sensor versus full frame. Currently have the 80D. Well, Trevor, Michael Trostino, sorry, you have got to watch a lot of videos on here and make that determination. I'm kind of biased. I'm going to tell you to buy one of these. I'm biased. Lots of advantages of this gear. Obviously, there's advantages to full frame as well. It depends on what you need, but I think more and more people are seeing that the advantages of these cameras outweigh the advantages of the other cameras. And this is the route to go, my friend. But I'm biased. Okay, let's see here. Sully has seen both the more talk about the MetaBones adapter, so I'm just gonna kind of bypass that. Hello from Reunion Island. Very cool. Let's see. Christopher Berry says super tough. Lancer awesome. Agreed. These are awesome. Someone else says they use Peak Design wrist straps. Inexpensive, works super well. Wonderful. That's a great recommendation there. Recommendations of the Lumix lens, the Lumix 12-35 2.8 or the Sigma 18-35 1.8. I can't give a recommendation as I have not used that Sigma lens, but so I'm really not familiar with it at all. But I know they're making great lenses, so I'm sure someone's out there's going to do a nice comparison for you. You can check that out. I don't have one, so sorry, I can't say. I can tell you that I use the 12-35 2.8 daily. In fact, that's what you're looking at right now is the 12-35 2.8. Love that lens. It is just like the I have two of them, right? That is the de facto, that is the lens that gets used the most, for sure. I talked about before, so I had the 12-60, the new Leica lens. I didn't get one of those this time, but I had that 12-60, so it's a 2.8 to f4, so that is a 24 to 120 millimeter equivalent. It is physically larger than the 12-35 by quite a bit, physically heavier by only a very little bit, which was really surprising. I did like weighed the two. It was kind of funny if you saw that one because I dropped the scale. It was a whole thing. Anyway, when I first got it, I said I'm probably not going to want to use the 12-60. I think that the 12-35 is going to be the lens that I'll keep on using. But I used the 12-60 because it came with the camera, and that's what I wanted to test, and that's new, and yada yada. I came to really, really like that lens, even though it is long, even though it's physically bigger. And even though you do lose aperture at the long end, it goes to f4, whereas the 12-35 is a fixed aperture. I found that I really, really liked it. So what's going to be interesting now is I don't have a choice now. I don't have that lens, so I'm going to be back to the 12-35 on here. And it'll be interesting to see if I feel like I miss the extra reach of the 12-35, or if I don't mind doing what I was always doing and either limiting myself to the 35 or having the second lens, the 70-200. Equivalent, so 35 to 100 with me. So it's going to be an interesting thing. You'll have to ask me this in a couple of weeks, and I'll let you know what I think about that. Okay, let's see here. More. Finally, Anime is saying, do you mind talking more about stills and photography side of GH5? No one really covers that. I know it's for video mainly, but I don't have money for. But I only have money for one camera. Okay, so number one, it is not only for video mainly. This is absolutely, without a question, both a video and a stills camera. The reason that it's getting a lot more video coverage than stills coverage is because some of the most exciting new features are most exciting for video shooters. So things like the 4K 60p, 1080p at 180 frames per second. These are the kind of things that are getting video shooters super excited. But if you take away the video part of it, you still have a brand new incredible sensor, better performing in low light than any Micro Four Thirds sensor ever has. So you still got that and that applies both to stills and to video. You've still got the new autofocus engine that is faster, and with the predictive autofocus and the, what's it called, the angle vectoring autofocus, way faster, way more accurate for motion tracking, for tracking motion than anything that has been out there before for these cameras. So that's all still applies to still shooters. 6K photo mode is totally for still shooters. 18 megapixel stills at 30 frames per second. In case you're not familiar with that, we will be going into that at length in future tests. So there's a lot of things out there that are about the camera that are absolutely for still photographers. It's just that because some of the sexiest new features are for video shooters, that's what's getting the most press. But with that said, I've been getting lots of people asking for more talk about photo, and I absolutely will be doing more about photography, still photography with this camera now that I've got it again than I did before. Before I did mostly video, focusing a little bit on stills. We're going to reverse that this time. We're going to do a lot more talking about stills photography. So with that said, I hope that helps you out. Let's see here. What else we got here? Best audio. You love Panasonic? Well, I love you, Best Audio. Let's see here. Sully saying get the 12-35 for autofocus, get the Sigma for low light. Pretty good recommendations. So I love the recommendations that say get both. If you can do it, if you can swing it, that's awesome. Obviously not everybody can. I totally get that. You got to make a choice in there. But that 12-35 is definitely a good lens. Let's see here. Bubblegum Monster says, I think Sean yourself mentioned you can power it externally. You mean the camera? Yes, absolutely. There are adapters that you can just drop in there. In fact, the camera that's this camera, that camera, haha, is a GH4, and it is running on a external battery adapter. And you just open the door and it pops in there. And let's see here. There's a little, I'll show you how this works. Let's get this so it's in focus. There we go. So there's the door opens. You see this little hatch there? If I open this, if I can do this, there we go. Open that, that allows the power cable to thread through. So now I can close this and the power cable threads through that hole. So there you go. That's how that works. And then you can power it and it can just run forever because it's just plugged into the wall. Okay, let's see. God, so many comments. Did I update my Panasonic app yet? No. If it's been released, I haven't noticed, and that's something I need to ask Sean if it's not public yet, if I can get that, because I definitely want to play with the iOS app on here. The new iOS app with this camera is going to do all kinds of cool new things. Oh, and Sean, SMR Photography LLC, that's on here. He's from Panasonic. He has stated the model number for the battery power adapter. It is the DCC12 and the AC9. So those are the two components that you need to tie that together. So Google that, DCC12 and AC9. Those are the pieces. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Ryan, put that in the show notes, please. And let's see here. Let's see. God, so many comments. This is wonderful. I love these locking adapter, but you end up searching for the HDMI cables that fit it. Okay, so that is this. What he's talking about is the thickness of this and being able to bend the cable this short. Really, if you get a really long cable, like I've got, let's see if I've got one here. Here, I've got this monstrous HDMI cable, right? Clearly, this, you're not going to bend this around into that. Clearly, right? Oh, here, let's do this. Here, you are not bending this, where are we? There we go. That monstrous thing into there. So you do need to buy HDMI cables that aren't so huge that you can't bend them this tightly or thread them through the little loops. That said, if I really needed to use this is a really long run. This is what, a 40-foot cable, I think. 35 foot, I got a 40 foot over there as well. Obviously bought for something that I haven't used yet. Remember that even without the casing on here, whatever we call this thing, this is a seriously snug fit. I mean, this is robust. Okay, I know I'm gonna totally get yelled at for doing this. Sean, close your eyes. Okay, that took a lot. This is heavy. That's heavy. That took a lot of weight to go out. That is not a casual little pull. I didn't break the port, Sean, I promise. But that's strong. So that is not going to pull out from a little tug. Whereas the original little, I don't have one here, but the little, oh, actually that's what this end is. The original little tiny, this would just fall out. You blew on it and it was out. So even if you can't, it's gonna be way sturdier. Okay. Oh my goodness, let's see here, what else? Does it block the headphone jack or the mic jack? This. No, it blocks the USB port, but not the headphone. Now the headphone or the mic jack. So, okay, let me just put that back on there. That's a really good question. Actually, let me put this thing back in. And we'll answer that because obviously that would be an important thing to know and that would kind of suck if it did. So, oh, it doesn't block the USB port either. That's what the pass-through is for. Okay, here we go to this. So let's get that into focus. So you can see the pass-through on the bottom. That gives us access to the USB. That is, where is it? That is the headphone port right there. And open this guy up on the top. That is the microphone port on top. So you still have access to all of your ports, even with this big old honkin' cage thing in there. There you go. Hopefully that helps that. Oh my. All right, let's see here. People are counting out my 166 viewers. This is fantastic. You guys are awesome. I love this. How does it work if you fold the screen out? Okay, excellent question again. Let's do that. It works like this. So there you go. Now it's the tilting. The tilting is the problem, right? The tilting is the problem because you can no longer tilt it when this stuff is there. So that's that. Obviously you can still turn it this way and do the screen like that. But if you want to be able to tilt it, you cannot tilt while it's closed all the way. Now you could still tilt like this. So depending on your situation, you know, I mean, you might be able to get away with stuff, but no, it does get blocked. You can't do the full rotation there. So if you're trying to shoot kind of waist down, holding down on the ground and looking down, you can't do that. You'd have to look at it at a funky angle like that. But you, I mean, look, that's not terrible, right? That's passable. You can do that. So yeah, you know, obviously it does block it. You know, for the ports to be completely out of the way of the LCD, the camera would have to be considerably larger. There are compromises that has to be made, and I personally think that's pretty acceptable. All right, let's see here. Mephisto saying I should do more GH5 related live streams. More people are watching. Yeah, well, you know, it's not all about the views. I know not everybody out there only cares about the GH5, so trying to get more content than just that. Howdy from Gibraltar, howdy from Romania. I've been looking everywhere and no one has an answer. How would this camera work in wedding photography? Oh my God, this would be a great wedding photography camera. Okay, let me tell you why. Why, first of all, mirrorless, just big picture mirrorless. One of the reasons it's so great for wedding shooters, silence, right? If you take, I don't have a mirrored camera in here right now, but if you take your Canon, Nikon mirrored camera, you take a picture, there's a big kathunka as that mirror slaps up out of the way. I remember I used to shoot the Canon 1DS Mark III. So that was the big, huge Super Pro body. It had a silent mode on it where it slowly lifted the shutter, lifted the mirror up Shutter still had to do its thing, slowly brought the mirror back down. It took about, you got about 1 frame per second this way. And it was slow so that it was quiet, but it was far from silent. It was absolutely still made noise. Wedding shooters like quiet, especially when you're shooting this. Okay, when you're shooting the party, who cares? But when you're shooting the ceremony, you're in the church or wherever you're shooting, wherever the wedding is, you probably want it to be quiet. And mirrorless cameras can be perfectly 100% silent. So if you're shooting in electronic shutter mode, it's silent. The shutter's not opening and closing, right? It's just the electronic shutter. There's no mirror flapping out of the way. The only thing that would be moving would be your aperture ring closing down and opening. And if you're shooting wide open, even that's not moving. So there is absolutely no noise, which makes it a perfect wedding shooter camera. Now, with weddings all indoors without strobe, obviously is low light as well. There's another great advantage of the GH5, the new sensor, better performance in low light, yada yada. Great low light camera. I love it. I'm not a wedding photographer. I did shoot my brother-in-law's wedding last year, and I shot it with a GX85 because I love that little camera. Super sharp, beautiful little machine. Obviously, I didn't have this. If I had this, I would have shot with this. Shot in electronic shutter mode, perfectly quiet. Really, really nice way to go. So mirrorless in general, great for wedding shooters. This particular body with this sensor, even better. This is if you're doing weddings, that's the camera that you want. In fact, look up. Well, that's fine. Just you got it. That's enough of an answer. Okay, we're gonna get through this show before noon. Heidi from Colorado. Can't wait for sample footage. Okay, well, that's a great segue for me to say, hey, there is already a lot of sample footage out there that I've done. For those of you not watching live, click here. For those of you watching live, I think you can click here anyway. Click on the eye, it'll open up, and there is a playlist of all of my GH5 sample footage. I will continue to be adding to that playlist because now that I've got it again, we're going to be doing a lot more. But there's a bunch of stuff out there. I think 5 separate videos that I did already with different, 6? 6, I'm being told it's 6 videos out there already with sample footage of the GH5, so from the GH5. So check those out if you haven't seen them already. Hello from Ireland, great channel, thank you, I love that. Wow, let's keep going. Ben Ellis says, hi Joseph, I used a Metabone speed booster with the GH5 when a Panasonic rep came to a local shop. I dropped you a message on Instagram for details in case you want to check it out. Oh, good, thank you, Ben, awesome. So some people are getting it to work, that's great to hear. So Brent is saying the image app got updated yesterday for the GH5. I have not seen that yet. Ryan, bring me my phone, please. We'll check it out right now. Let's see here. Thank you. Image app needs a serious update. Hope they greatly improved it. Well, I wouldn't count on massive changes, but it's been updated apparently. Okay, let me just, what do I want to do? Let's look at, oh, do I have, yep. All right, here, let's do this. You guys can see it. We'll plug all this in. Hopefully everything's plugged into the right place. We'll find out in a moment here, and then we'll take a look together and we'll see what is there. Let's see here. It got updated. Other people are saying it's got updated, so that's great. We're going to see it in just a moment. More about the Metabone speed booster. That's great. People really digging that, and more comments that I can possibly get to, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, let's see here. No, this is not plugged into the right thing. Let's find this end of the cable. Plug that in, and then we can see my iPhone screen. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are always asking about this setup, I just did a little cleanup, not rearranging, but just kind of cleaning up. As I was building this thing, there was a lot of stuff that got swapped out, cables left behind, and it was kind of a disaster. So I just did a major cleanup the other day. I'm basically ready to show you how this whole thing works. So now I just got to plan it because it's going to be a really complicated live shoot to show how all this works. But I'm going to do it live because that's just cool. But I'm almost ready to do that. So for those of you who are always asking about the switching, the cameras, the lighting, everything else, I'm almost ready to do that. Okay, this is working. Great. Let me rotate this sideways. And let's go into the App Store. And I'll put this up on screen in just a moment. I just am going to look at my recent updates here. And let's see here. Looking to see if I have the Panasonic. Yep, there it is. Okay, this is it. It's there. So Panasonic app, there you go. That's it right on top there. Panasonic image app just updated on the 13th. That was yesterday, 2 days ago. New Lumix digital camera model, DC GH5 are now supported. Well, let's just open this thing up and see if there's anything new that we can see here. Oh, haha, look at that. Camera settings copy right in the middle, and I don't have the I haven't configured this camera wirelessly at all yet, so we're not going to connect it right now. But you can see there, bottom middle, it says camera settings copy. That allows us to copy the settings from this camera to the phone and then copy them to other cameras. So cool, so cool. It does, there's the Bluetooth connection. So there was the, oh here, you know, I can do it this way. Let's do this, and we can come back here, and then we'll do this. There we go. So we got the Bluetooth option on there. Obviously, I'm not prepared for this in the slightest, so I don't know what any of this really does yet. I will do a whole video on this, but this is really exciting that that is now available, so that's awesome to see that. We got our geotagging capabilities. That's supposedly, again, all from what I've been told, haven't been able to try it yet because this hasn't been out. Supposedly now I will be able to leave a Bluetooth LE connection running between the two devices. Less low energy, which means it takes virtually no power. Leave this presumably locked in my pocket and continuously get geotagging to the camera. That's how I understand it. We'll see. There's a lot of other things we can do, but that's something we're gonna have to check out, and we'll find out, and I'll let you know as soon as I've played with it. I will give you guys a tour. Okay. Anything else going on in here that I want to jump to? People talking. Are you going to be doing the one light headshot video you talked about? Oh, I did that, Mark. Yeah, that was beginning of the week, I think. We will link to it right here, but we'll have to link to it later because it's not in the playlist now. But the one light headshot, I did that earlier. That was with my assistant Ryan, modeled for me, and we did that. I think it was last week. I think last Tuesday maybe. But yeah, we did it. Auto focus through the phone. Yeah, you can control almost everything of the camera on here, including start-stop recording, shooting still pictures. It's great. One of the things that I've used this a lot for, I've done a little bit of real estate photography, not a whole lot because there's not a lot of money in it. But one of the really cool things about this was I would put the camera, you know, you want an aerial shot, right? But drones are expensive and illegal to fly commercially unless you have the proper licensing, of which I have neither. So I put this thing on a pole, stick it way up in the air on the pole, and then through the iPhone app, I could see through the camera, and I could tilt the camera, tilt it, and then fire it off. Super, super cool. So that's a really neat use of it. There's so many reasons to use this app. MK Flaw is asking, how did I get it so early? So you must have come into the stream new. Recently, I am a Lumix Luminary. I'm sponsored by Panasonic, so I get my hands on an early pre-production model. I've had one before, had to give it back, so this is the second time I've had it. There is a playlist. If you click on the little info thing up here, there is a playlist of all my previous GH5 sample content. Please do check that out. There's a bunch of stuff already out there, and I'll be doing a lot more. Okay, so people asking about the production. Just again, to reiterate, this is officially pre-production. Even the box is a P for pre-production. But I've been told that this body is production quality, but basically meaning nothing is changing. So this body is a final build. It's not off the final assembly line, but it is final build. And the software, or firmware rather, that's in here, right now the firmware that's in there is beta, but I have the what is supposed to be the final one, but that may change. But I have a much newer version of the firmware that I will be installing on here today. So there you go. So this should be production. The tests that I'm doing from this point on should be equivalent to a production shipping camera, which is really what you guys care about. That's the most important thing. MK Fly, you don't understand why I'd get a pre-production model? Because I'm sponsored by Lumix, by Panasonic, that's why. Okay, whew, man, that is the end of the comments. I'm sure I skipped past some. They were just flying by like crazy. So thank you guys. That was like the biggest live show ever. That was crazy awesome. Thank you again for checking that out. Hey, while I've got you, don't forget about all my other cool stuff. Lynda.com. You know, I keep forgetting to set up. Well, no, I'm not forgetting. It's because I don't have my laptop here. Still off at Apple getting service. But I've got cards that I built to show off all my Lynda training that I'll start introducing because I want you guys to check that stuff out. But if you haven't gone to it before, go to Lynda.com. Just search for my name, search for PhotoJoseph, or go to PhotoJoseph.com/Lynda. That'll take you to a place where you can get a 10-day free trial of Lynda training. Lots and lots of Lynda training on there. I will have, probably by next week, a very, very cool announcement about an upcoming Lynda course, but I can't tell you yet. That's exciting. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Do the thumbs up thing if you like this. Do the thumbs down if you don't. If you don't like it, be nice and tell me why. I like to hear why people don't like things. Maybe I can improve it. People who tell me I talk too fast, I can't help that. That's just me. And the last thing I want to say is, if you are going to buy a GH5 and you haven't yet, please do me a favor. Use one of the links below, one of the links in my description. There's links there to B&H, Amazon, and Autorama. So if you're buying from any of those three, if you would please buy it through there, that's an affiliate link. I get a little nickel off of that, and it just, you know, it's all those little bits and pieces that kind of help to keep this thing on the air. Okay, guys, that's it. Good Lord. flying by comments. I'm not even going to try right now. I will catch up on those later. Thanks a bunch for your time, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. We're just going to let you look at this thing for a kind of closing shot there. Let's pull that back and get that thing back into focus there. Where'd my focus button go? I lost my focus button. Oh, there it is. Let's get that. Pull that back into place. We'll just put that into focus and we'll leave it there. Take care of yourselves, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.